This morning we're going to do a short stretch routine that incorporates all the main muscle groups of the body. So we're just going to begin this morning's practice with an ear to the shoulder neck stretch. Gently allow the ear to drop down towards the shoulder, closing down through the eyes so that you can just bring the mind into the area that you're beginning to release. You can play around with the angle of the chin, slightly lifting it or gently tucking it to see if you can get a little bit more resistance in the stretch. Gently reaching with the opposite hand and extend the fingertips away from you, encouraging the breath to flow into the area of the neck that we're encouraging to soften and release. Inhale, gently come back up to the center and then repeat on the other side. So ear to shoulder. Some of you might like to tuck the chin very gently or even lift it up to get a little bit more of an accurate alignment. And then reach with the opposite fingertips, extending through the palm, lengthening the hand away from the ear. Inhale, gently coming up to the center. We're going to tuck the chin down now. So just allowing the chin to sit into sort of between the collarbone. You might want to play a little bit left and right just until you find that balance into the center part of the neck. If you are in a little bit of height, we're now just going to take the block out to the side, just let it go, we'll use it a little bit later. We're just going to cross at the shins here, just to making sure both shin bones are parallel and keep the knees in just slightly wider than the hips. Take the hands behind the back of the head again, gently dropping the chin to the chest, allowing the elbows to be soft, and we gently allow the spine to round forward. Breathing into the areas of resistance and tension that you feel. Just encouraging the spine to curl. This is a very effective stretch early in the morning. If you wish to sway slightly from side to side, you can. And aiming to get the crown of the head towards the floor. When your spine has curled as much as possible, you just gently release the hands and come into a cross-legged forward fold. We're going to walk the fingertips forward and then gently sink into the forward fold. Breathing into the lateral side of the rib cage. Trying to expand the breath in the upper thoracic area of the spine. Once again, we're just going to repeat that rounded spine. So inhale, lift tall with the arms. Exhale, tuck the chin to the chest. Allow the elbows to be soft and round through the spine in a flexion. Top of the head reaches towards out. Reach as far as you can while keeping the sit bones anchored down into the floor. Relax through the shoulders. Relax through the hips. Taking a large breath in into the lower abdominals this time to help encourage the hips to open. We're going to walk the hands to the one side of the body. Now the arm that's closest to the center line, you're going to reach a little bit further out and encourage that rib cage to come down and square off through the torso. Taking a big breath into the lateral side of the rib cage, so the side that is open here, that center line of the body side. Come back to the center and walk to the opposite side. Again, extending that arm that is closest to your center line of the body. Encouraging that rib cage, armpit and shoulder to come down towards the floor. Relaxing through the shoulders and the back of the head. One more big breath here. And we come back into the center. Walk the hands closer to the body and peel up through the spine. We're now going to move into a forward fold. Now, if you struggle with really tight hamstrings, we've got two options. We can either take a block or a cushion behind the sit bones. This helps us get that pelvic tilt action, so we're not straining too much through the hamstrings. Or you can also slide it underneath to support the thigh bones. This way we're getting more length through the lower back tissues, and there's not too much tension through the hamstrings or ligaments behind the back of the knees. We begin our forward fold, inhaling, lifting the arms up over the head. Reaching tall with the fingertips. Slowly start to come forward, tilting at the pelvis here. Feel long through the crown of the head, so we're not lifting the chin, but rather just lengthening the hairline in the back of the neck. And then slowly come forward with that pelvic tilt. Keep reaching until we reach that place of resistance. Now you can take the hands to the sides of the feet, or you can place them onto the calves. Anything to just allow you to come forward slightly. Try and keep the pelvis reaching and the length coming from the lower back. A lot of the time I find people really struggle with our forward fold because of the hamstrings. And although it's a hamstring stretch and we are lengthening the backs of the legs, primarily what's going on is our lower back tissues. So when these are contracted, it's very hard for the back posterior chain of the leg to lengthen and open. So we're just going to hold this for a few more breaths. Let the belly go. Soften the shoulders down. Relax through the back of the neck. And then allow the breath to move you into the stretch deeper. Inhaling, lengthening the torso out of the pelvic bowl. And then exhaling, allowing the belly to come closer to the thighs. Inhale, we lift, lengthen. Feel the crown of the head pull away from us. And then exhale, belly comes closer to the thighs. Very slowly, we walk the hands to the thighs and we gently press into the palms to roll up through the spine. It's really important that you don't come up too quickly, because the tissues that have opened and lengthened will then contract very quickly, and we're trying to create space in the muscle tissue. So the next exercise we're going to do is another hamstring and posterior chain exercise. Really good for releasing the lower back, especially if it's a little bit stiff in the morning. So you're going to come down, lying on your back here. Grab a belt. You don't have to use a belt if you don't have one. You can just use a towel. And then we hook it over the foot. Before we begin this exercise, it's really important to square off the pelvis. So I lift my hips up and then lower them down, finding that neutral pelvis here. I bend my knees so that the femur bone can dig deeper into the socket, and we get this length through the side tissue. So just draw that knee in towards the chest slightly and feel the bone come deeper into the socket. From here, you'll notice there's a very natural belly suction happening going on, and there's length through the lower back tissues. I'm then going to extend through the heel, so finding the center point of the heel and starting to encourage it to go towards the ceiling. There should be a bit of resistance against you on that band. What you'll begin to find is there's quite a strong sensation in the back of the knee now. Often shaking is a good sign that we're really starting to unlock those tissues. You can continue to extend the heel, but be cautious that you don't extend too much, that we then lose that deep inner hip connection. So keeping that very subtle bend and make the extension come from the back of the Achilles, the back of the heel. From here, we're going to take the 2 straps into one hand, extend the leg on the floor, and then take the lifted leg across the body towards the belly button. Now it doesn't have to go too far because we want to keep the pelvis square and in neutral. This will begin to unlock that side IT band all the way down to the ankle, and you may experience a little bit of pins and needles in here. A really amazing stretch for the lower back tissues. We're going to continue this stretch by just bending the knee into the chest and encouraging it to keep coming across the body into a twist. I really encourage my clients not to hop this hip underneath you, but rather square off the twist with the rib cage. The pelvis is already set perfectly from our other stretches, so we don't want to shift with that pelvis, otherwise we miss getting some length through the lateral tissue of the underneath side. So just gently hop that rib cage across and square off that way. The more the tissue begins to open, you can keep encouraging that rib cage to come across a little bit more. As you come back, hug the knee into the chest, give it a bit of a squeeze, encourage the hip to stay deep into the socket, and then release the leg out long. We're going to change to the other side now. So once again, we take the belt over the foot, square off the hips, bend the knee subtly into the chest so we get that thigh bone deep into the socket, and then begin to extend into that resistance of the belt. So pushing the center point of the heel up towards the ceiling. Try and keep the hips square as possible. After a few breaths, extend the underneath leg and start to come across the body, taking the 2 bands into one hand. Continue to extend through the posterior chain of the leg and extend out into the Achilles. Have a look here at the positioning of the foot as well. See if you can notice that it wants to curl in a little bit like this. This is a very common habitual pattern. So just encourage it to really flex as much as possible and even pull down slightly on the little toe side. After a few more breaths here, we're going to hug the knee closer to the chest and draw it across the body. Remember, don't hop this hip underneath you. And when I say that, I mean don't do this. Okay? So it's all set up perfectly here. If you need to make an adjustment, we just adjust from the rib cage here. As the spine begins to open, you can extend the arm and the chin away from you. You can add a little bit of weight here or just allow gravity to do the work for you. Taking large breaths into the lower abdomen and relaxing the shoulders and the upper back into the mat. One final breath. And we roll onto the back and hug the knee into the chest. We're going to move into a thoracic opener, so that upper back opening to really release up those shoulders and that neck. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a bolster or a couple of cushions. We just need a little bit of height to encourage that curvature to come into an extension. You take the block or height that you've chosen and just place it underneath the shoulder tips. So find where the chicken wing is and just place that height underneath there. For females, it's roughly around that bra strap. So you're going to choose your height, place it once again on that bra line or just below the shoulder blades, and come down onto it. Before we come back into our extension, we're going to ensure that we have some length through the lower spine, so we tuck the pelvis underneath us. This will also help open through the upper back more effectively. Now I would encourage you getting a second block or a cushion. But before we lower down, take the hands behind the back of the head. I like to gently pull and extend my hairline. So where the hairline meets the skin is a really great cue to get the neck in correct alignment. Keep pulling on the hairline very gently to encourage the neck to extend. You can then take the arms behind the head. If this is too powerful, you can also extend them out to the sides and relax here. You have a few different options for the feet. You can open up into a Baddha Konasana, so our butterfly position, or you can extend them out long. I personally like to keep a little bit of tension in the heels to continue to encourage the pelvis to come down and the lower spine and coccyx bone to lengthen. Sometimes in Baddha Konasana, if we have an uneven pelvis, we can sometimes throw off the alignment in the thoracic spine. Now, if you find one armpit tends to open and flay outwards, what we can do is grab a belt. Now, I've made this belt the same width as my shoulders, and I'm just going to slide the hands in either side and place the belt just above the elbows. I'm going to extend the fingers up over the head here and just pressing a little bit of tension into the outer edges of the belt. This will help the shoulders come deeper into the sockets and also open that thoracic spine in a more even manner. Now it's really important that we move slowly out of this posture. These upper back tissues aren't used to opening and often can be a lot more stiff early in the morning. We begin by just releasing the hands down to the sides. Then we subtly sway the knees from side to side. This will help decompress the spine. You do not want to move out of this posture until you feel an ease in the back. If there is still a breathtaking sensation before you're about to move, it's too soon. When you notice that ease comes into the vertebrae, we gently tuck the chin into the chest. Prop yourself onto your elbows and lift your upper spine off the block. Take the block down to the side and slowly release the back onto the mat. Slide the pillow out and away and allow the spine to just release in Shavasana. I hope you guys enjoyed this morning's stretch video, and if you like what I'm wearing, you can visit trevenaandco.com. That's www.trevenaco.com and purchase these watercolor leaf leggings printed on recycled plastic bottle lycra. I do the paintings myself with the original watercolor, and then I put it into a seamless pattern and print it on eco-friendly fabrics.